Welcome to Equat TV again, to your favorite show, The Living Room. I'm sure you are always looking forward to meet us. Today, I have three very important guests with me. We call them Miss Eden Quadbuck. Eden, say hello.
Hello.
Miss Sisa Osagede. Sisa, say hello.
Hello.
And Emmanuel Ode.
Hello.
And I'm Teresa Madu. I'm standing in for Amaka Ocheke, your favorite anchor. Last week we talked about getting out of debt. I'm sure you have taken good notes and you're already working on getting out of debt. And in previous editions we had talked about disciplining children of various ages. Today we want to hear from the mouths of the children themselves what their experience has been, what lessons they have learned, and what we can take away from the show. So, let me let you know more about our guests. I'll start with Miss Eden Quadbuck. Eden, can you tell us a little about yourself, like what age you are, how old you are, how many siblings you have, what school you go to?
I go to GHCA. GHCA stands for God's Heritage Children's Academy. I have two brothers, and I'm the only girl, apart from my mom.
Can you also look up Eden as you talk?
Apart from my mom.
Apart from your mom, you are the only girl?
Yes.
Are you the first?
Yes, I am.
And we didn't quite hear your age. How old are you?
I'm 7 years old.
Eden is 7 years old. Eden, thank you very much.
Sure.
And in God's Heritage Academy, what class are you in?
Grade 1.
Grade 1. Thank you, Eden. Sister, can you tell us a little about yourself? How many siblings you have, how old you are, what school you go to, in what class you are?
Okay, I am 10. I have two brothers. I'm the only sister.
Are you the older sister?
Yes.
Okay.
My school is Westwood Park School.
Okay. And what grade?
I am in grade 4, moving to grade 5.
Grade 4, moving to grade 5. Okay, thank you so much, Sisa. I take it that you are the firstborn too. Yes. You are the first girl, you are the firstborn. Good. And now we have Emmanuel. Emmanuel, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, my name is Emmanuel Ode. I'm Bethany Christian Academy. I have 3 brothers. I'm the last born of the family, and I'm going to SS1 by God's grace.
Okay. And I think we haven't heard how old you are.
I'm 14 years old.
You're 14 years old, so you are the real teenager now. I hear that the teenagers eat all their parents' food. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Even me, I'm a foodie. I don't mind that. So here are our guests. You've heard about them. We're going to take them on one by one again and just hear from them what their experiences are. Eden, can you tell me a little bit about growing up? I heard you say earlier that you are not a little girl anymore. So when you are smaller and to this age, what were the kind of chores you did at home? Eden, you need to keep looking up.
The kind of chores I did at home are sometimes I wash plates, sometimes I help my mom cook, even though I'm not a foodie.
What can you cook, Eden? What can you cook?
I can't on the fire, but if you on the fire for me and give me the ingredients, I can fry plantain.
Wow.
I can fry eggs. I can make eva.
Wow. Wow. I take it that you also do some laundry. You know how to wash some things?
Yes, I wash plates.
How about clothes?
No.
But I also heard you tell me earlier that you know how to sweep. Is it in school or at home?
At home.
You sweep at home?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eden. We'll come back to ask how you learned them. Sister, what kind of chores do you do around the house?
Sometimes I sweep, I wash the plates, or maybe I mop.
Or maybe you mop.
And I clean my room.
And you clean your room. Us, when we were growing up, we swept every day. It wasn't sometimes. We swept every day. Do you sweep every day?
Only on weekends.
Only on weekends. Okay. So you sweep, you clean your room. What other chores do you do? Do you do laundry?
No.
Okay, we'll come back. So who does your laundry? You're not sure? Okay, or you won't tell?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Ima?
Okay, I clean my room every day.
You clean your room every day?
Every day.
Ah, as in every day?
Every day, ma.
Every day?
Every day.
Okay.
I wash plates sometimes. Then I help my mother in the kitchen. I can't cook.
You can't cook, but you
Yes.
help your mother in the
Yes, ma'am.
kitchen. Tell me exactly what help.
I can help her pound pepper, blend pepper, peel yam,
Okay.
fry things. That's basically everything.
I should ask, what's your favorite food?
And my favorite food is pounded yam.
And you can pound?
I cannot pound, but my elder brothers can pound.
Okay, 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 okay. We're coming back this way. Eden, what's your favorite food, if you have?
My favorite food is yam and egg sauce.
Yam and egg sauce.
Yes.
So since you can make plantain, are you able to make egg sauce? Too hard. That's more difficult. That's like cooking.
Yes.
Sister, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food also is yam and egg sauce. I like it too.
Wow. Me, what's my favorite food? I can't think of it. I have a favorite fruit though. My favorite fruit. Do you want to know my favorite fruit?
Yes, ma'am.
Mangoes.
Oh.
Mangoes. Every season, mangoes are my favorite fruit. So I'm not sure I have a favorite food, but I do have a favorite. I don't have a favorite food, but I have a favorite fruit. So now we're going to talk some more about how you were growing up and everything. Do you do sports? You like
Usually.
games?
I like games.
What kind of games?
Board games.
Board games, not physical.
Sometimes I like physical games.
Like
Running,
running,
swimming.
swim. You swim?
Yeah, but I'm afraid of the water. I only like watching people to swim.
So how can you swim when you are afraid of the water?
Well, they teach me.
In school?
No, in Abuja.
In Abuja. Your mommy and daddy make sure that you've learned it. I heard that swimming is a skill that we need to learn so that we don't get drowned one day. Eden, do you have any favorite sports, games?
My favorite game is X and O.
What?
X and O.
What is X and O?
It's a game you play on paper.
A game you play on paper?
Yes.
That sounds like a smart girl. If you're not doing X and O, what else do you do? Like in school? Do you run?
Yes, and my favorite, and I swing a lot. I love the swings. I usually spend my whole break swinging, but after a little time I swing, I go and stretch and run. Then I come back.
I wouldn't say swinging is a sport. That is enjoyment. You just swing and have a good time. Is that a sport? What we shall see? And Ima?
I like basketball and football and also running.
That's 3 in 1. Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
No wonder we can't see the food on your body. Because you told me that you like pounded yam.
Yes, ma'am.
For somebody who likes pounded yam, we should have been seeing it on your body. But since you are running, doing football and basketball, there's hope for Nigeria, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the real reason we brought you here is not to talk about all of that. We want to talk about how you grew up and how your parents disciplined you and what you learned from that. We've been talking about discipline for a long time on the show. So I need you to think hard back. We'll ask you one by one. For example, Eden, how did mommy discipline you when you were little and now? Can you remember?
When I was little, when I do something wrong, she'll say, "No, don't do that," and hit me a little. And then as I grew up, it became harder and harder. Now, sometimes she tells me to kneel down, and sometimes she beats me.
And sometimes
Sometimes she talks to me.
Sometimes she talks to you.
Yes.
I like that. So when you were little, she'll say, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. And then now that you're getting older,
She spanks me and she talks to me. She also gives me punishment like kneel down.
so we're going to come back and say, what have we learned from that? But you know that it's biblical to discipline a child, right?
Yes.
Because the Bible says a child left to his ways will be ashamed to his mother or father. Do you want to be ashamed to your mother or father? So can you see why mommy kept saying no, no, no? And sometimes when she spanks you. I'll come and ask for the times when she spanks you. What did you do that we got spanked? Caesar, how does mommy discipline you when you, or how did mommy discipline you when you were little and as you grew older? Did the discipline change?
Yes.
Okay, talk about it.
When I was little, anything I do bad, they'll spank me.
When you were little, they will spank you. Who is it? We're talking about mommy.
Yeah, I mean like my mom.
Mommy will spank you, okay?
And then as I keep growing, they punish me like kneel down or you won't go outside for days.
Ah, that one is bad, child. That's hard, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I like to go out, and if they tell me to stay indoors, that's like, just stay inside. Don't go outside.
Yeah.
It depends on how the gravity of the offense, right?
Yes.
You are going to tell me those kind of offenses. Emma,
Like
do you remember when you were little and now?
I can't remember when I was little, but my mother normally flogs me when I do something bad.
Are you hearing that? My mother normally flogs me. What did she use?
Sometimes when she gets really angry, she'll stone me with a shoe or something.
Yeah, I didn't like that part too. I didn't like that part, but go ahead.
Okay, when I was coming up, my mother bought a kuboko.
I did too.
Bought a kuboko, then she would spank me. But basically now she does not do anything. She just talks to me if I do anything wrong.
She talks to you. I think that's because you're also growing and outgrowing the cane, hopefully,
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe the kinds of things you did that deserve the cane, you do them less now. And
Yes,
she
ma'am.
thinks that if she talks to you, you might get it.
Yes.
So can you see that you are growing, right? Now I want you to tell me the kinds of things you did that deserved the cane.
Like when we're younger or
When you were younger, but now you get the cane for certain things, not for everything.
yes.
Tell me about that.
Sometimes I get the cane for disobedience, for mostly disobedience.
And we'll talk about what disobedience is. We'll talk about what disobedience is, yeah? Sister, and when do you get the cane?
I get it when I touch something when it's not mine. Disobey my parents. I mean like my mom.
Especially if they have told you that don't do this, right?
Yes, over and over.
Over and over. She has said it once, she has said it twice, she has said it thrice.
And they get tired of saying it all over and over again.
I think at that time, even you are begging for a cane. I remember I would tell the children, I say, you are begging, you are asking for a cane. Because we said it once, twice, thrice. Okay.
My mom says that.
She says that too. Okay. Ima?
Okay, my parents, I normally get flogged for disobedience, especially disobeying my mother.
I can imagine. I can just imagine. And you know, why do parents give us the cane? Why do they discipline us? Yeah, Eden.
I think it's for wrongdoing. Because the Bible says, my mom always, when she wants to flog me, she'll say, the rod of correction, he calls Cain rod of correction. She'll say, the rod of correction drives foolishness away from a child.
Actually, I can quote it very well for you. They say, foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far away from him or her. So, almost every child has that foolishness bound up in their hearts. We were once foolish too. Do you know that? Oh, you can't imagine. We were once foolish, and we got the cane too. One of my most foolish moments was pushing my brother off a tree. Uh-huh.
Oh my, that's bad.
That's bad. So you don't do that bad things.
Not that bad.
I'm sure you have some of your very bad things. I got beaten and I have never forgotten that you do not push your brother or sister off a tree for mangoes, for goodness sake, because of mangoes, eh? Okay. What other things were you beaten for?
I remember that me and my brother were playing up bunk, so we were both fighting, and then there were Legos on the ground, so I pushed him down the bunk, and then he started crying. I was like, shh, shh, don't let mommy find out.
So how is that different from my pushing my brother off the tree? You
Really
push your
different.
brother to the Lego. He will be as hot as badly as my brother falling off the tree. Emma, what were you punished for?
Okay, one day I can't. Okay, one day I was going for lesson and it was raining, so I went to my house. Nobody was around, so my worker in the house opened the gate and the how inside the house was locked. So I decided to carry my less bicycle and ride back to my mother's shop. Then when I was going, my father caught me because he was very angry because I could kill myself because there was no brake. The bicycle tire was less. So he took me back and flogged me.
So what does that tell? Can you see the things we do after our parents have said don't do it?
Yes.
They've warned us again and again. And it's for our safety. It is for our good, right?
Like
I mean,
one
now
day
that you're older, would you do that?
No,
Would you do that same thing again? Yes, Eden, what were you going to say?
Like my mom has told me, don't sit on the cabinet, don't sit on the cabinet. One day I sat on the cabinet and the cabinet broke.
See that? So every time they are saying, don't do this, they know what the consequences are. It can be even more serious things like paying attention to schoolwork, and we'll talk about schoolwork too. Because that's also part of discipline. Let's talk about our fathers. He's not there. Just look at me and talk to me. How did your father discipline you when you were little and now?
Same thing, but he hardly gives me to kneel down. So does my mom, but I've never remembered him to give me kneeling down punishment.
So can you see that parents have different styles, but they discipline us all the same?
Yes.
And you know, sometimes fathers like their first daughter so much. So they are soft on them. So daddy disciplines you, but he doesn't tell you to kneel down. My father liked me too, but I used to get punished. What of you, sister?
Well, when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
my father usually shouts at me to tell me not to do this.
Okay, he will shout at you.
Yeah.
And now?
Well, he just explains to me and tells me what to do.
Okay, he explains more things to you and just tells you what to do. Emma, how did your father discipline you when you were younger and now?
My father hardly talks, so I never try to disobey him.
Oh, he hardly talks.
Yes, because I don't want to offend him, so
But you
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
offend mommy.
I don't want to offend mommy, but
Okay.
yes,
So you've never offended your father?
I have. But when I offend him, he normally just talks to me. He does not do anything to me. He just talks to me.
Just talks to you. Lucky you. That's why there's mommy. That's why they have the same page. Mommy and daddy are actually one. Whether it's mommy disciplining you or whether it's daddy disciplining you, they are disciplining you for your good. And you know, Proverbs tells us that we should keep remembering the discipline. We should keep remembering the discipline. So now I'm going to ask you another question. What is it that mommy says to you that when you go out, you remember and it makes you behave well?
Sometimes, what makes me remember is that Actually, it's not when she says it softly.
Okay.
When she says it harshly. And
You don't forget when she says it, Ashley.
yes,
But can
it
you give me
sticks
an
in my
example
head.
of one of those things?
Like when my mom shouts at me, like I don't know, it just startles me and it just goes into my brain suddenly. That's how I just don't forget it. It just
So
sticks
one of
with
the
me.
things I remembered when I was your age, if I went out there to, to mix with other people, my mother would say, "Don't forget where you're coming from." Have you ever heard that kind of thing? When you're going out and your mother is saying, "Don't forget where you're coming from. Don't forget to look after your brother. Don't forget to bring your lunchbox back home. Don't forget to keep your soccer things where they're supposed to be." I just want to hear something from you. What are those things that maybe when you go out, you still hear it in your head or in your ear? Yeah, Eden.
My mom says, "Don't forget your sweater.
Oh,
Don't forget to take care of your brother."
don't forget to take care of your brother. When you go out there, you are hearing it in your head, isn't it?
Yes, it just is repeating.
Just be repeating.
Yes.
Sister,
Ma?
what is it that when you go out, you keep hearing it again and again and again?
When my mom says something to me like in a way that it's so loud and I get afraid.
Does it have to be loud?
Not really.
But give me an example.
Okay, like when I go outside, she'll always tell me, don't forget to get your watch so that you come back at 6. Don't forget to watch your brothers and always defend them.
Don't forget to watch your brothers and always defend them, right? Okay, you are the last one. You don't have anybody to defend.
Yes, mom.
Uh-huh.
So my mother tells me not to forget my sweetheart when I was in primary school. And my mother still tells me I should not leave my things behind when I'm in boarding school. So that's all.
But what really happened? With all the football and the basketball, I am sure you forgot things.
Yeah, I forgot a lot. I forgot my sweetheart plenty times, like much times when I was in primary school.
So can you see why parents say these things again and again and again? And by saying them again and again, now you are looking like very, very beautiful, civilized, disciplined people, right? But that's because they said it again and again and again and again. I'm going to ask you something that you like about what they have done to you. In other words, when you look at yourself now, you are all grown to some degree, right? But it's something that mommy or daddy did that you didn't like, but now you are better off because of it. Can I give you an example?
Yes.
When I got to the age of learning how to drive, I was so fearful of driving. I was so insecure. But my father really thought that I should learn how to drive. And I wasn't able to overcome my fear of learning how to drive. But because they kept giving me a car and said, go drive, go drive. You know, I'm so glad I learned how to drive, because I've had situations where I needed to be able to drive and there was nobody I could call on. Are you able to relate to something like that? Something that your mommy and daddy said, keep doing, and you didn't like it all, but right now, it's helping you. Okay, maybe who wants to go first? Yeah, Eden.
Sometimes before my mom used to tell me clear the basket. I did not enjoy it, but now it helps me when I wash plates. When I wash plates and they're done drying, I have to clear the basket. But now I enjoy doing it.
Because you have to take it out and you have to bring it in, isn't it?
Yes.
I will talk about how that is good for you in the future. It also teaches us how to be orderly, right?
Yes.
Because how can you keep dumping things in one basket and not clearing it? Even if you had tons of plates, you will run out except you clear the basket, right?
Yes.
Sisa, something that mommy and daddy were doing to you again and again and you didn't like it, but now you can see that it's useful.
I don't really get it.
Huh?
I don't really get it.
Okay, for example, if mommy and daddy made you greet people and you really didn't like the idea of greeting people, especially kneeling down and greeting them, now that you are older, can you see any value in it? Is it useful? Oh, so there's nothing mommy and daddy made you do that at that time you didn't like, but right now you can see that's useful.
Well, when I was younger, I didn't really like sweeping. It was so tiring, my back would pain me. I didn't really like it.
Sweeping makes your back pain you?
Yes.
How much sweeping was that?
I had to sweep the parlor, the dining table, and also the kitchen.
It's our house. If we don't sweep it, how will it be clean? But now that you are grown, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm getting better at it.
You're getting better at it. Are you seeing usefulness in what they taught you?
Yes.
Otherwise, our house will be a pigsty from day to day. Emma, you should tell us something better. Things that you didn't like when they were doing to you when you were younger, but now you can see the value.
Okay, my mother always told me to sweep. Then when I went to boarding school, most of my friends could not sweep, so I taught them how to sweep.
Yeah, you taught them how to sweep.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's talk about schoolwork. You know, that's the part you've not talked about. I think where parents and children run into trouble is schoolwork. I won't talk to Eden. Eden loves schoolwork. Let's talk to Caesar. Caesar, did you like all the schoolwork?
No.
Who made you do your homework the most?
Well, my mom.
Did you like it when you were doing the homework?
No.
On the day that the grades were announced, what did you do? It felt like you were the one who did the work, right? Yes. That's what I meant. That what did your mommy and daddy do that you didn't like, but now you can see the value? You see, they made you do homework, right? At that time, did you like it?
No.
But when you see the grades, you're suddenly proud of yourself, right?
Yes.
Did you like your performance this last, was this semester you call it, or term?
Term.
Did you like it this last term?
Yes.
Did you do well?
Yes.
Are you going to work harder this coming semester or term?
Yes.
Eden doesn't have a problem with homework, but Eden, tell us about homework.
Homework, well, I don't mind doing my homework, but I have a problem. We come back from school. Sometimes we go to my friends' houses. I have to do my homework there. I am always forgetting my books. I'll forget my books. I'll forget my things there. So when I come to school, my teacher always shout at me and start beating me. So, but now I don't do it again.
You don't forget your homework. I mean,
the beating reminds me.
Everything reminds you.
Yes.
I don't know what we shall do about this forgetfulness, but you know, when we are younger, we have so much opportunity to play that's just natural to forget. So we need to find something to remind us not to forget, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Emma?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing well in school? You would say so?
Yeah, I won't say so, but there are ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your biggest distraction?
Okay, my biggest distraction is, let's see, things my friends.
Your friends?
Yes.
Okay.
My friends are my biggest distraction.
Okay. And I hear you say you want to be a lawyer when you grow up.
Yes, ma'am.
So how are we going to handle that? What are we going to prepare to be lawyers? You know, lawyers cannot be distracted.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm trying to stop that. I'm trying to be more focused.
More focused.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When we finish this show, ask me, I'll tell you a story about focus and how I got my focus very correctly when I was in the equivalent of your GS2. Eden, you're not forgetting your books anymore. What did you say when you grow up you are going to be?
A babysitter and a lawyer.
A babysitter and a lawyer.
Yes.
I can get a lawyer, but why do you want to be a babysitter?
I love babies. They're cute, they're adorable, they're sweet.
And their work too. They are a lot of work.
Yes,
So I can tell that you're going to be a
work.
hardworking person. Since you're going to be a babysitter and you're going to be a lawyer. What makes you think you can be a good lawyer?
Because my mom is a lawyer and she just seems okay. She seems fine. And I notice she's always writing.
And you like writing. Mom is always writing.
Before my handwriting was ugly and I didn't enjoy writing, but now I like it. My handwriting is nice.
Sister, when you grow up, what do you want to be?
A baker.
A baker. A baker. A baker. Who bakes what?
Cakes and maybe pastries.
Maybe pastries. Sometimes I think we're aiming too small. I think there's a bigger field. It's called being a chef. Do you know what it means to be a chef?
Not really.
When you watch TV, you see them with their white caps on, with
Yes.
their white something.
Aprons.
So they need to know more than just baking. They need to know all other aspects of cooking. So I can see that you are going to be more than just a baker. You're going to be maybe a chef. Who knows? You might be a nutritionist. You may be telling us the kinds of food to eat and what not to eat and all of that. So you need to expand your horizon. Adima says that he wants to be a lawyer,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay. Can you tell us why you want to be a lawyer?
Okay, first of all, in my just to the main reason let's call me lawyer because I like that. I like that black clothes. Like I really like it.
Aha! That's why you say black is your favorite color.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am. But now I grew and I want to be a lawyer because I like talking. I like talking and
I didn't see the talking on this show. Keep talking. I'm not hearing you. Keep talking. Keep talking.
I like talking and also like setting like I like giving people good justice like in school. When I see my junior offended and I know the junior did not do anything bad, I'll try to help the person. I'll tell the senior that he should stop doing what he's doing to the junior.
So you're already a defender.
That's why I like defending people. Let's put it that way.
You are sharing one characteristic with God. God likes justice. The Bible says that righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. Okay, now, I want to talk about one thing about the discipline you didn't like, about your mother, your father. What way did they discipline you that you didn't like? Yeah? Sister Eden is going first, yeah.
Sometimes my mom is very angry. She'll just, the first thing in her sight, she'll just throw it at me. I don't like that.
Me too. I liked my father's discipline. I did not like my mother's discipline. If my mother is angry, she just throws anything she finds at you. Shoe, anything.
One day my mom she was angry. She just threw a shoe on me. It landed on my leg.
So it can hurt us. So we don't like that part. Caesar, what part of the discipline of either mommy or daddy that you didn't like? Or you wish they would change?
First of all, they'll shout at me and they'll tell me, why did you do this? And then they'll flog me.
But we have to flog you now.
Yeah, and then they will tell you, repeat what you should do right.
And you don't like that? Yeah, I can't see anything wrong with that too. But I don't know about the shouting. Because when people do things that are upsetting, people are upset. Maybe we should shout less, but you can't say we shouldn't shout. Maybe they should shout less, right? And don't you shout?
Yes, especially to my brothers.
You see that? So you shout at your brothers, but you don't like to be shouted at. Take note of that.
Okay.
Emma?
I don't like when my parents flog me.
But you did something that deserves flogging.
Yes, ma.
And you don't want to be flogged.
Yes, ma.
So what should they do?
Shout at me.
You want them to shout at you?
Yes, ma. It's better.
Me? I used to be scared of my father shouting. No.
Same with me.
Too. I'm used to be scared of my father shouting. So now we're talking to people out there. We're talking about discipline from our parents' point of view. Do you have any advice? Eden, if there's a mother and a father out there that has a 7-year-old, do you have any advice for them?
They should not be too soft on children. They should discipline children, but sometimes not too harsh. They should discipline them by the amount of wrong they have done.
So I'm going to repeat what Eden said in case you didn't hear it. If there are mothers of 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds out there, Eden is saying, you have to discipline us. Don't be too harsh, right? But discipline us nevertheless. Don't be too harsh, but discipline us. We need the discipline. Eden, thank you. What of Caesar? What advice do you have for people out there?
Well, children should do what is right, and
Yeah.
also parents should not to always shout.
But we can shout at our siblings. We can shout at our siblings, but our parents shouldn't shout. That is double justice. That is jungle justice. You can shout and then your parents shouldn't shout. People out there, I don't know if you agree with Caesar's advice. Caesar says she's guilty of shouting, but she doesn't want parents to shout. Or they should shout, but not shout too much.
They should shout and should not shout too much.
Ima, any advice for parents out there?
My advice to parents that they should not flog that much, but they should shout more.
I hope our listeners are not being confused. Some say don't shout, others say shout. What I would say is that I think, like we have said on the show, we shouldn't discipline in anger. Because when we are angry, we tend to also shout.
Yes,
But-
and we don't forgive. Sometimes when you're angry, you tend not to forgive.
You see, and when we are angry, we tend not to forgive.
Yes.
And we must forgive.
Yes.
So, parents out there, this is from the children's mouths. We have to discipline. We have to make them learn what is right. Whether it's schoolwork or house chores, we must take the bull by the horn and discipline. But Eden says, discipline according to the offense, not more than the offense. Caesar is not sure. Caesar thinks that you can flog us, but don't shout too much. Even though she shouts at people when they wrong her. Ima says, don't flog us, shout. So I would say that let's put it in context. We'll put it in context. I think even in terms of all that the children have said, we'll go to put it in the context of the Bible, where the Bible says that a gentle answer turns away wrath. You know what that means? That if you give a soft answer, people may not be that angry. And maybe sometimes the reason parents are angry is that you are not honest. Maybe they have to find out, hey, did you say this? Did you say that? Did you say that?
Yes, because sometimes we are not honest. Sometimes we feel, when you beat me, my dad will be so angry. Oh, let me just try and get out of this. There's something in your heart. When you do that, I don't know, something in your heart, the devil will whisper into your ear and say, just lie.
Just like. And then mommy and daddy find out, and then they're very mad.
Yes,
They're very
because you've
angry.
already lied.
You've already lied. So viewers, you have heard from our children. You have heard out of the mouth of babes and children. We have to discipline. Don't let the devil deceive us. We must not let the devil deceive us. And number 3, parents must discipline, but don't shout. Don't shout too much. And if you are going to be angry, calm down and then discipline. Don't discipline in anger. Thank you, viewers. Until we come your way next week again, This is the living room, your favorite show. And we hope by then Professor Amaka will be back to take on her show. Do you want to say bye-bye to our viewers?
Bye.
Thank you and bye.
Thank you and bye.
Thank
Iman?
you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you
God
for
bless
watching.
you.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope you learn.
And we hope you learned. Bye-bye.
Bye.